Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Locked, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Trevor, and welcoming back into the studio, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Konner Kennedy.
Hey, guys.
So, Konner, you've been gone for 2 weeks, man. People are missing you. The comments are crying about you every other day.
It's ridiculous, man.
Why don't you just let them know?
Break through my window.
What? That escalated so quickly. What the heck?
Said we want Konner back.
Oh. So, Konner, why don't you give me a little update, man? What's life been like?
Well, I've been gone out of town for 2 weeks because I got married.
Boring. That's enough of that.
Jeez. Let the man speak. Mute him. Mute his mic. Thank you.
I got married and went on my honeymoon to San Juan, Puerto Rico, which was super fun. But now I'm back. I honestly really miss coming to work. So we cut the honeymoon off short, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he had 2.5 months off for his marriage, and just only took 2 weeks of them. You know.
Did I actually get muted? Yeah, you did, but you're back now.
Okay. Just want to make sure if I said anything important.
We weren't worried about that. So we're starting it off with last week we introduced a new segment. Well, we said we wanted to introduce a new segment called Mailbag, and lo and behold, we got our first mailbag.
In the bag.
This is from Debbie Cantwell. I don't know how to say her last name. I think it's right. Debbie Cantwell. She said, I was designing projects for my cricket while watching this week's episode of Grip Locked. You mentioned the new mailbag segment, so I designed and made the enclosed item for your office. I hope you like them. P.S. This is the cool part. I've never played disc golf, but my son, Don, is an avid player. So she's never played disc golf, and yet she's watching our podcast.
That's amazing.
Which is awesome. And not only that.
That is a real one.
She made us this absolutely sick mug.
It's cool.
So on this side, it says, I heart disc golf. And then on the other side, it has our logo, and it comes with a matching
Now, hold on just a second.
coaster.
Ready?
No freaking way.
Oh, my God.
Are you kidding me?
Coaster and coffee warmer because it fits on top of the mug.
It's not getting cold. It's just not.
Now it's a travel mug.
I don't know how that didn't click before.
I don't know
it's
either.
definitely a coaster.
It's definitely a coaster, but that it's also
function.
perfectly sized. That's really cool. Well, regardless, I mean, this is going to be my go-to coffee mug in the office now, and I've got this handy-dandy coaster, so whenever I'm sitting here, I don't get water stains on our nice table. So if you want to send us anything, feel free to do so. We really appreciate it. Stuff like this just makes my day. Because, yesterday this came in, and it made my day.
It's true.
just that simple.
His day, in fact, was made.
My day was made by this mug because it's the coolest thing I think I've ever received.
We
also last
got
week,
hot sauce.
we also got hot sauce.
Gonna
That's
make
not
our
making my
day.
day.
Yeah.
Well, it might make my day if Trevor's the one that has to do it. Also last week was Masters Cup.
Oh, Masters
The
Cup.
one and only, lo and behold, the Masters Cup. Now, we're going to get into a lot of storylines with this because there is a lot of them. Some people were upset at us last week for not talking about it much, but it was because I knew how much we were going to talk about it this week. I didn't want to get you sick.
I think those people are not going to be happy with the way we talk
I
about it.
didn't want to get people sick of us
There
talking about
are a lot of
Day-Law.
people that like the Masters Cup.
Well, here's the thing. So I want to start it off about Day-Law. We're going to look at Day-Law, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to first ask you, or I don't want to say call you out, but you talk about all the time on this podcast
All the time.
how you love events that have history.
Right.
The courses and events have history. We keep coming back. You say, we need that, we need that, we need that.
Yes.
This is that.
You're right.
It is a course, Day-Law, that we've been coming to for 35 years. Sometimes they mix in the golf course. It's also Day-Law. That can be confusing.
Yeah.
But the Day-Law disc golf course, there's tons of history. It's rich in history, and yet you don't seem to like it.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Well, here's the thing. It's because the course. The course is not what I don't think it is the type of course we should be playing at the highest level on. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Day-Law has that iconic factor to it where it's been around so long. But really, the only reason it's iconic is because it's so old. I don't think the course itself. It's got some signature holes, like the top of the world hole
An I-5.
and I-5, but the course itself. Here's the thing.
And the fridge.
You
think
can
it's on
argue because I would want to play Day-Law because I've seen it so many times and it's historic. I would want to play Day-Law. I think I would have a fun time trying it out. But as far as a course at the highest level, a lot of times with old courses, my biggest complaint is the course just can't keep up. It hasn't been able to age because this course is on a public park where I think, right? It's public park.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. to where there's not a lot of wiggle room to where they can move. There's like, I mean, they're practically playing on the side of cliffs. There's not really a lot of wiggle room where they can move things around. So it's tough for them to adapt the course because a lot of the old courses, like I would consider the best aging course, or at least one of them, I'm just going to say one of them, as Winthrop, because they've been able to adapt it because the property is expansive. They can do a lot of things on that property while keeping things intact. This course, not only do I think, while that's normally my point is like courses can't age well, I think this course just would have never been good enough. Because it's not because of, the distances and there's tweeners and it's just not aging well because guys throw further these days and they're better. It's really because the scores weren't ridiculously high, right? Like they weren't crazy compared to what we normally see, especially considering how many holes they were playing.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother point. But the problem with De La is there is too much luck involved, and it creates a randomness that while is, I guess, kind of different, it's not really what you want on the tour because it's not fair. The roots, the tree limbs, and just the kind of oddball lines on the course just create for so much just straight, like the disc golf the essence of disc golf has randomness. There's going to be spit outs and rollaways and all these things, but they're going to happen regardless of if the course encourages it. And this course encourages a bit too much for me. It's just a little gimmicky. I'm not a big fan of De La. And I understand there's a lot of people going to be outraged at this. They love De La. It's their home course. But like I don't have a problem with there being like a really good like A tier still there every year Masters Cup. Like guys go out there, like it's still a big deal. Like let's keep these tournaments around. But while I do think it's important to have events, have history, I think it's important that those courses are really good courses that we know that we can adapt because there's space to adapt them, and that are gonna like stay good courses throughout the years. And I'd also like to say that as much as course history is important, just event history is also a big part of it too. So you could have, if they moved the Masters Cup, I know that's another, I just said something else crazy right there, but like at least we still have the Masters Cup, It's just they move it to a better course. That's my thoughts, my 2 cents.
So do you think that's going to be an ongoing issue as the sport continues to evolve? Because we've already seen it now happen to the Memorial.
Right.
More than likely, we're going to see it happen to De La. As far as De La, I think the reason I believe it's not going to be an elite series moving forward is I believe we're at the end of the National Tour era.
Right.
And the Pro Tour won't pick it up because of the cell service.
The Pro Tour stops right now. The courses are pretty solid across the board. They're, as far as like being, I mean, a lot of them are golf courses. So like there's endless possibilities there.
That's a different issue.
Though, yeah, I wouldn't like the thing about the Pro Tour right now, and we've talked about this too with like the public park situation and what's going to happen with that. Like if this park decides no more disc golf, like how all of our popular disc golf courses as of right now, other than maybe like a Maple Hill, could literally just get uprooted any day and we'd have no say in it.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. But I think the Pro Tour stops right now are not in any places like De La that I can think of where it's like a historic course that just like isn't good for the Pro Tour. The courses they're playing, I think they're making a conscious effort to make them like difficult and fair courses for the Pro Tour.
Yeah, so before I talked about my opinion on De La and the course design, I wanted to hear everyone else's opinion. So I put a poll on Twitter, on my personal Twitter, and basically asked, what did everyone think about De La's course design? Yeah. 43% of people, the choices were great, good, not great, sport has outgrown it, and it was never great. So I figured that was a pretty good widespread that everyone could have their voice be heard. 43% of people said the course design is good, but not great. 31% of people said it was great. 22% of people said sports outgrown it, and 4% said it was never great.
It's tough to weigh the balance of like the course design being good and just the fact that it's just like the terrain of the course, which makes it unfair. It's tough to weigh, like, is the design actually not as bad as I'm thinking, but it's really just the terrain that makes it that way?
Well, I think it's the design because of the use of the terrain. So I'm between the good, not great, and outgrowing it. Because like what you were saying, I think there's too much luck because of the pin placements and sometimes the T2 pin placements where you have cliffs, roots, the pin locations that are precarious because of the cliffs or because of the trees around it, or holes like hole 15 where there's a 2 meter rule in effect. Stupidest rule in disc golf, period. 2 meter rules in effect. and then you're throwing from up top, and the only way to get to the basket is to throw over trees.
Yeah.
And so we saw it happen to I believe it happened to Kevin Jones. He was in contention going into hole 15, which is a 24 hole, another whole different issue. He's going into hole 15 in the final round. He's in contention. He throws a tee shot that it wasn't great by any means. Got stuck up in a tree. Immediately he gets stroked for that. Okay, so now he's throwing 3, whereas Adam Hammis throws a shot also offline, but got far enough forward that he finishes. And then Drew Gibson throws a much worse shot than Kevin Jones, hits an awful tree on the right, but filters all the way down.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, there's 3 shots that none of them were where it was intended to be. None of them were parked. One guy is OB because he got stuck up in the tree. One guy's farther back but happened to fall out of the tree, so he's fine. And the other guy got past the tree and is up here now to the left.
I think I can hear a lot of people saying, like, they're going to keep going back to this, but, like, that's just the essence of the game, man. Like, that's just day law. Like, you're just going to get good breaks. But, like, at the end of the day, like, there is something, like I said, disc golf already has these things happen. There's already, I mean, I played last night and I spit through the basket dead center 3 times. Like, it already happens. So you don't need to encourage it. And as a tournament director and as the Pro Tour, you don't want the guy who plays well but also gets the most good breaks to win.
Yeah.
You want the guy who plays the best to win. Like,
well, that's also Adam Ham is like 2 holes later. I believe it was 16 or 17. It's the one that's like a little bit open. It goes forward and then goes into the woods.
Yeah.
He throws a hyzer, looks great, and then just hits a tree a little high. You know, it was probably about 6.5 feet in the air, and the tree just eats it and it sits there. And so he's OB. And so now he's throwing 3 from, even though he threw a very good shot. You know what I mean? It just the 2 meter rule, I will never understand. I get the point of it is that people can't go up and over and spike down and destroy the course design that way because a lot of trees are lower. And so that was the whole idea behind the 2 meter rule. My thing is, that's where I was asking, is it good course design or not? Because my thing is, add a Mando, change the tee locations, do something to cut that off if you don't want that to happen on your courses. Don't just be like, well, if you happen, because then what happens, like, you might throw, let's say it's I don't know if this is on day law, but it's a 200-foot hole, trees by the basket. You know, you can go straight at it and not risk the 2 meter rule, or you can go up and over, and you're going to get within the circle every time, but you're risking the 2 meter rule. I'm going up and over every time because worst case scenario, I have a putt for 3.
Yeah.
And so, like, did that really change anything? Yeah, it made it 1 stroke worse, but now the guy that gets lucky that falls through has a birdie putt. Like, it just adds unnecessary randomness. And if you don't believe it, just look at the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Okay?
It was super weird.
We'll talk about the results here in a second, but let's just keep this in mind. I just think, I agree with you. Keep an A tier there. This is not an elite level course, period. Every single hole, there is something that could happen that could cause your disc to roll away. You could throw the exact same shot, the exact same line, feel like you did everything the same time 10 different times, and your disc is going to end up in 10 different spots.
That is one thing.
Hate that.
That is one thing to say for golf courses. Whenever they're playing on golf courses, they're using fairways and really well manicured ground to where you're not going to see as much randomness.
Well, so I'm all for a golf course here and there. But we use them way too much.
Oh, I agree.
I'm sick of it.
I'm just trying to make a point in their favor of, like, saying, hey, at least that's one thing they have.
That is one thing, but, like, we're about to see another golf course at the Portland Open, and I
am tired.
I am not ready. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I am tired.
I don't care. Like, the Portland Open, we'll talk about it later in the show. It does look like the course design has some more variety than other golf courses, but it's still a golf course. Yeah. And I'm bored. This year, I'm so bored of watching it.
Yeah, I wonder, like, if that's the Pro Tour's plan, is just to keep going this direction.
I understand the reasoning, but
I don't know what they can do because, like, I think it probably makes the most sense for them to be able to create a course that's going to be hard enough as it needs to be, probably, and just make it the way it, like, I mean, it's tough. But, like, I mean, I don't know what because, like, they can't just, like, put in all these courses on these private properties. Like, that would be the dream scenario. Like, they need other people to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. But De La, I think, I don't want to talk about it too much because I am very convinced that this is the end of the national tour. This might be the last year we see the national tour.
I think so.
If not, within the next few years it is. And De La will not exist on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I think it's a non-issue because I don't think we'll see it again.
It's not even going to be because of the course design or randomness. I also don't understand why any elite series is playing 24 holes.
Yeah, you gotta keep structure.
That just doesn't make sense.
Whenever you're going to look back and do statistics and all these things, it's easier just to have all the events with the same structure. When they're an elite series, they should have to abide.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I get that not every event can do 4 rounds, and even though I prefer it, but, like, I really wish that every tournament was 4 rounds.
Elite Series.
Yeah, every Elite Series. I wish we could do that.
Well, that because also Hannah Macbeth was on Twitter complaining about their round taking over 5 hours day 1, and then was like day 2 it took 4.5 hours. And at first I'm like, oh my word, a 5-hour round. But then I was like,
that's not that bad.
Hold up, they played 24 holes.
Yeah, 5 hours, 24
But that's
holes.
the thing is like it probably felt to her like an eternity. And I think part of it was there was backups. But 5 hours is like 13 minutes.
4.5 hours, 24 holes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was like that. When you look at the overall time, like that's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah.
To get through 24 holes. I think there's probably backups and stuff that made it feel longer. But it's also players just aren't used to playing 24 holes because nowhere else on the Elite Series do we play 24 holes.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Before we get off the topic of day law, I don't know if anybody else thinks of this whenever they hear day law, but like I think of like whenever I first started playing disc golf, because the first videos that I gravitated towards were the Central Coast videos with Paul, like the starter pack challenge and Chance versus Chumps and stuff like that. And so whenever I think of day law, I just think of like silly. But that might just be because of those videos. But I love it just because of those videos.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, it's a very loved course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the course.
Just because
I just don't love it for an Elite Series.
Yeah,
I would if I was
not
in
an Elite Series doesn't mean it's being destroyed.
No.
Like people are still gonna play it all the time.
If I was in that area, that would be like one of my bucket list courses. I'd love to go play it.
Yeah.
But I would not love to play
back.
it with a Pro Tour or National Tour on the line because I wouldn't want my fate decided by if my disc stuck in a tree, which that's just California, or if I hit a root and rolled all the way down the hill. Like I wouldn't want that to determine if I'm a National Tour champion or not. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that
about
makes
it.
sense.
Speaking of lucky breaks, I had this thought, just random thought quick. I had this thought last night. I was like, our sport has somehow survived this, but the sport of disc golf is going to be in really big trouble when some guy has a putt to win a major, like a U.S. or Worlds, puts it dead center, and it spits straight through the basket, and then he loses. Like, how bad is that going to look on disc golf?
I mean, I don't think it'll look bad at all.
All right. For all these people that are new to our sport and watch some guy throw a putt that I'm talking like this putt is like in the basket and just spits through the basket.
But that's just the randomness. Like that in golf, how bad would it look if someone hit a
that
putt
doesn't
and
happen
it
in golf.
rimmed out?
That's a bad putt. If somebody hits a putt in golf dead center at the right speed, it does not jump in and out of the cup. If somebody shoots a shot in basketball and it's perfect, it does not. It's a unique thing to disc golf.
Okay, if it was actually a perfect putt, it would have stayed in. Because if it came in and was able to spit through, it had too much speed.
But there's a putt. It's tough. It's a lot harder to decide what is a perfect putt in disc golf.
I know, but I'm saying
I've seen some that look perfect that go out of the
look
basket.
perfect. I'll agree with that. Look perfect, sure, but it wasn't because it went through the basket.
I just had this thought. I was
if
like,
it's the perfect speed, it's never spitting through.
I'm just saying it's going to be a really tough look when somebody has a putt to win. It's like a 25, 30 footer. They make this putt and it goes straight through the basket and then they lose the world championships or something and they should have won.
I mean, that's like saying in basketball it's going to be a really bad. Not. Yes, it is. When basketball, when it's a real, you don't even know what I'm about to say. And you're saying, no, it's not.
Go ahead.
I'm about to say. No, I want to hear what you think I'm about to say.
Are you going to say somebody shoots a shot and it rims out?
No.
What are you going to say then?
Okay, thank you.
Finish your point.
It's going to be a really bad look in basketball when someone goes up and the ref calls a foul or doesn't call a foul.
No, that's different though.
But it's the same type of thing.
That's different.
It's an awful look that this is officiated by a person. Like, no, you can say that about so much stuff.
It's
a really bad look in tennis when someone hits a perfect shot and somehow it lands on the line.
What? The line is safe in tennis. Also, in tennis, they can challenge and they have exact technology to serve the ball.
All I'm saying is a perfect putt in disc golf does go in.
I don't know.
Period.
I don't know about that.
How?
Because I've seen some really good ones spit through the basket.
Exactly what I just said. You've seen some really good ones.
What is a perfect putt in disc golf?
The perfect speed, height, and everything will go in the basket.
What is that though?
Because technically,
what is the?
I mean, there's no real. It changes basket to basket.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm just saying it's gonna happen one of these days.
And I don't think it's gonna be a bad look. I think it's gonna be a good storyline. Everyone's gonna talk about.
Everybody's gonna be furious. I mean, I would be furious. Imagine how awful that'd be.
I don't see that as a problem.
Imagine we're on ESPN. Imagine if we get on ESPN like a Worlds. All these players have never seen disc golf. They're like, "This is great," and then some guy makes a putt and it spits to the basket, and they're like, "That's the dumbest thing ever." Like he made that putt.
No, I mean.
I think that's
stuff
more
like that
troublesome.
Happens in every single sport.
Konner, do you agree? Like that could be a troublesome situation for the sport.
What do you really think? People
Feldberg used to talk about that a lot. Like that, like people get frustrated because
Feldberg also. I mean, we can go into so many things.
Are you gonna
Feldberg
roast
talks
Feldberg,
about.
dude?
No, I'm just saying.
I think that it's frustrating, but I don't see people seeing it on ESPN or something and it like discrediting the sport.
Yeah, it would be
I
just
don't
like in
know.
basketball. I'd have the same feeling towards it as in basketball if Duke went to hit a game winner and it bounced off the rim and then rolled off. Or in football, if a field goal
just different.
bounced off the top of the field goal and bounced straight back out. Like it's,
That's
oh
but
man,
that's a
what
miss.
a bad break.
That's a miss. That's like hitting the right side of the chains. I'm talking about it goes in. That's like the basketball going in the basket and then popping out.
So you're saying, are you saying it hits the chains and goes through? Or are you saying it gets all the way into the basket and
I've seen
trampolines out?
putts. I have seen putts hit dead center and just sometimes they just go in the right spacing of the chains to where they hit the pole at a deep, like a fine speed, not a bad speed, and they just pop right straight back out at you. I've seen putts hit.
See, that would be too slow of a putt to be a perfect putt.
I mean,
The
but
whole
like
issue is you
that's-
said perfect.
All right, I'll get off this topic. I just had the thought last night, and I was like, I think I think it's crazy that somehow in this sport we have avoided that situation to this point.
All I'm saying is
Where
a perfect putt wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but
because then
how
it
would you
wasn't a
fix
perfect
that?
putt.
How would you fix that?
I don't know. I don't
okay.
think there is a way.
Because that's the same thing in golf. If someone hit a ball too hard and it was going dead center into the cup, it could bounce back out.
I feel like the only way you could fix that is just by making it like a rule that has to be consistent baskets.
But
Like,
even then, it's still going to
I think
happen. The
it's-
only
It's
basket
still
it
gonna
wouldn't
happen-
happen on would be a mock X, but then you're going to go into a much more criminal
think
side.
It's still going to happen,
which
but
is
at least
someone
from
wins-
course to course, you can learn the baskets and you know
Yeah.
what
Well,
a perfect
you
putt
should-
is for that
The
basket.
Pro
That's a
Tour
good
should
point.
have a standard
That's a
basket.
good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Period.
saying.
I think for me, it's mostly like I'm just gonna be really heartbroken when somebody I really cheer for
Sure.
has that happen to them, and I'm like, that's just like that,
Unlucky.
That's awful.
Yeah, I would be
Like,
heartbroken too.
That would be awful.
But I don't think it'd be awful
Imagine
for the
you're the
sport
guy-
of disc
well,
golf.
imagine
We're on ESPN in your scenario. That's amazing for the sport of disc golf.
I think-
Everyone's talking about this dude just had a chain spit
I don't know.
through
I'd be pretty
for a
bummed
world
out. I'd be pretty
championship.
bummed out if we were on ESPN or SportsCenter or whatever, and that's the first thing that happened is like some guy made a putt for the world championship, but it spit
I don't
straight
think
through the
that's
basket.
nearly as big of a deal as you think it is.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I guess. 'cause
I mean,
it's gonna
I
happen
think
eventually.
The worst.
Imagine winning like that. Like I'd feel awful. I'd feel sick to
Sure,
my stomach.
sure.
I'd be like,
It'd be
I
so
won, but I
unlucky.
didn't deserve it.
But you can also, that's like in basketball when you're like,
You keep going back to basketball.
because that's the sport
That's
I
like
know.
comparing
that's the sport
apples
I know.
to grenades.
I can't
Like,
compare.
they're
I can't
not
compare
even-
golf because I've never played golf, so I have to go to basketball because that's what I know. But in basketball, it'd be like
It's
when
not helping you.
It does because in basketball, it's the same thing in all sports. With this, I'm not comparing rules to rules. When people say the ref lost us the game, right? And you're like, well,
There's no refs in disc golf though.
Can you let me use my
can't-
analogy?
But you can't make that analogy. It
I'm
goes-
not. It's not a direct analogy. Let me finish, and then it'll make sense. Jeez. The ref,
heated.
the ref, be like the ref lost us the game, and then every time the coach is like, "Well, yeah, but if we would have just made our free throws, we would have done this." So you can't say that one putt on 18 lost me the match or the whole tournament because it's like, well, yeah, but if I would have hit this putt back here, if I wouldn't have messed up here, you can point at 10 different things that would have had you win.
I think
It's
I
not
think
just
it's-
this one putt. It didn't all come to one moment.
That's valid, but
Thank you.
I
Wait, let me stop you 10 times, then you make your point. I'm like, oh, that makes sense actually. Wow, looky there.
I mean, you're still comparing basketball to golf.
Because I just understand the rules of basketball. I don't understand the rules of golf.
I feel like in that scenario, like when have we ever seen an NBA championship game come down to a final shot and there's a foul call and then the guy goes to the line and shoots the winning free throws? That's never happened ever.
Maybe not first off, it's because the championship is decided by 7 games.
Okay, so game
But a
7
national
or
champion-
a deciding game.
A national championship, I mean, lots of weird stuff like that's happened in college.
I don't.
And you can also look at Kawhi Leonard when he hit the shot for Toronto, that it bounced straight up and down on the rim. In that moment, it's which way it's going to fall. That could have easily just fallen out. That's really unfortunate. It fell in. It's unfortunate for the other team.
I mean, if you go by physics, though, that shot was never going to miss. Like
If you go by physics, a perfect putt is never going to miss. I mean,
I don't know, dude. I still think that.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I think it is. I don't know. People in the comments decide 400 kills me in cold blood.
Well, I would just like to be able to get my thought out before you just
I
start
just don't
saying
like you
it's awful.
comparing basketball to disc golf.
He wasn't
I'm
comparing
not
the
comparing
rules.
it.
He
I
was
wasn't-
comparing the situation.
I know,
Yeah.
but I don't think the situations work either because there's no
Yes,
refs.
you literally said I'm not comparing refs. When did I say there was refs in disc golf? Never.
You used the foul argument though.
Because I'm saying people will say like that
But
decided the game.
that's a subjective call by a person on the outside, whereas a putt is something like it's
we'll
objective.
use basketball still. A free throw that rims out and we lose the game by
It's
one.
not a perfect free throw though.
It's not a perfect putt because it fell out. Oh my gosh.
I disagree with that.
There's a perfect putt for the basket will not fall out. Period.
I don't know, dude. I've seen too much. I've seen too many good putts.
Good. You have not once rebutted it by saying I've seen too many.
I've seen
perfect
too many
putts.
perfect putts not go in the basket.
Well,
Then
see, 'cause
there,
that's,
I'll say
that's
it.
where you're lying. And you know that. That's why I keep saying good.
No, I don't think so.
You've never seen a perfect putt go out of the basket.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. Maybe there's no such thing as a perfect putt.
There is for each basket. There's a specific hit box and speed that if it hits at that, it's not going to fall out.
I'll tell you one thing. There's no reach back. I'll tell you that for free.
All right. At Masters Cup, MPO, we had Adam Hammes taking it down by 1, James Proctor coming in 2nd, and Kevin Jones coming in 3rd. I'm going to go ahead and go through all the like results, FPO and Dark Horse, and then we'll come back to storylines. On FPO, we had Paige Pierce winning by 5, Katrina Allen coming in 2nd, and then in 3rd, we had a 3-way tie between Alexis Mandujano, Juliana Korver, and Kona Panis. I almost had the FPO top 3, but I picked the wrong Mandujano sister because I said Valerie, and it was Alexis. And then Dark Horse, Chris Shotwell, shot a 7 down during the final round to take it down for me.
I don't really care about the Dark Horse picks anymore because I know I'm not going to win. It's been decided apparently by the universe because it doesn't like the Dark Horse picks, like we've said multiple times, like we try to like put skill into it, like try to think about who we pick. But at the end of the day, it is completely just, up to the odds of, your guy winning or whatever. And like I have not won one time and I've lost every week except one. And I just don't know what to do. Like I think it's almost like fascinating at this point.
It's
like a statistical anomaly that I have not even come in second except one week. Like how's that possible? I don't even know.
I don't know, man.
I almost want to keep losing just for the sake of it, like so we can report this to NASA and be like, I think there might be like a black hole over by my computer where I pick my Dark Horse pick because something's not right. There's a wormhole over there. It's sucking my brain cells in. Like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why can't I win? And almost every week, my guy is winning after 2 rounds. And then he loses. It's like not all these guys surely none of these guys are listening to the podcast and are like, oh, I better not choke. I'm the Dark Horse pick. Like
this round, we were tied at 2 down going into the final round, and then Shotwell popped off and shot a 7 down.
I mean,
to get to 9 under.
It's whatever, man. Like, I can't really be competitive about something that I never win. Like, it's just really hard at this point.
So Adam Hammes this is Adam Hammes' first big win.
Yeah, we better make a statement here. Adam Hammes played really great. Like we all said all that thing about luck. Like we're not going after him. He's a really good disc golfer.
No, yeah,
he was bound to win.
Yeah,
eventually.
we literally, if you go back to the beginning of the season, I think Trevor predicted like multiple Pro Tour wins for him. Like we've been expecting this for a while.
Yeah,
an Elite Series win. He's actually had a very strong season overall.
No, he has. And he was bound to win. And, he won at this event that we said the leaderboard was super weird. But him winning was not super weird. It's not really. It's not happened this year yet. And I don't even think he has a top. He might have. I don't even know if he has top 3 this year. I may be wrong with that. But, yeah.
His putt just seemed dialed in.
When his putt is on, I don't know if anybody putts better. He's incredible.
Yeah. Second place,
he does
James
a lot of
Proctor.
perfect putts.
James Proctor, there might be a lot of people who don't know that name. A big part of the reason that people don't know his name is because he's not on tour. And there actually was just a Nick and Matt show interview with him that you can get to know him a little bit better. And the reason he's not on tour is because he's actually a special ed teacher. That's cool. He said he doesn't want to tour because he just loves what he does so much that he just doesn't really want to go on tour. Because I've always wondered that because he's always for years he's been like 1,000 to 1030 rated.
If you've got a job you love, then there is no incentive to go on tour right now, unless you are the best of the best.
Yeah, well, he's been playing for most of his life. He grew up across the street from a course. I think he grew up 2 hours away from De La, so he played De La quite a bit. But it's a big storyline that he was able to finish that high, but it doesn't seem like we're going to see him out on tour a ton. But whenever he is on tour, I don't think it'll be that surprising to see his name kind of creeping up the leaderboard towards the top. But now this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier, because I wanted to go through these results. There's inconsistency with the top names. And I think a big part of it is just the course design, because you had Paul coming 4th.
Weird.
The top names is Paul, Ricky, Calvin, because Eagle wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because I was going to look at Paul, Ricky, Calvin, Eagle. Eagle wasn't there. Paul coming in 4th, not weird.
No.
But for him to not have been beaten by Ricky and Calvin, starts to get a little weird. Ricky then is in 14th. We have 4th to
That's super
14th.
weird.
Starts to get a little weird. And then Calvin Heimberg came in 33rd.
Yeah.
Not only did he come in 33rd, he missed cash for the first time since 2013.
Dude, that's crazy.
8 years.
What
Now,
a run, Calvin.
if you look on PDGA, there's 2 instances of him, quote unquote, missing cash, one in 2014 and one in 2015. But if you click on those events, he finished high enough that he was within cash. They just never reported the cash.
Okay.
So it looks like they're blank, but they're not. So the first one I could see that he legitimately finished low enough was 2013. So 8 years ago.
Dude,
it
he
also
hadn't finished
broke-
outside the top 5.
It also broke his top 5 streak at 12.
Yeah, he hadn't finished outside the top 5 this year.
12
Dude,
events. It goes into last year.
That's crazy. Man, and
So-
and that's the thing. Calvin Heimberg is the most consistent player on tour. I mean, we just said he hadn't been outside the top 5 all year.
Yeah, there's several arguments that he was the best player in the world
And
between him and Rick.
33rd, like that's, I mean, I don't know how many strokes off the lead he was, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
So,
you can't argue that these 3 are 3 of the top 4 players in the world. You cannot argue that. Eagle is also in there. He wasn't here. And they are 4th, 14th, and 33rd.
Yeah, like that's not a
To
weird
me-
thing in other sports, but like in disc golf, that's just not a
And
trait of disc
we're
golf.
not there yet. We don't have 32 players that could beat Calvin Heimberg
Yeah.
week in and
That's
week
just
out.
not something that happens. Those players are always going to be around.
And so for them to finish like that, I think that speaks to the inconsistency of the course.
Yeah.
I think that's all it speaks to. And again, that doesn't take away from Adam Hammes or Kevin Jones or anyone like that, because everyone played the same course. Everyone played in the same conditions. So Adam Hammes won fair and square. I'm not trying to take away from that at all. But I'm just saying that stuff like looking at that, I would love to hear someone's rationale as to why we're seeing a 4th, 14th, and 33rd. And some people might say it's just the first good course we played on tour. I would just argue and say it's the first bad one we played on tour. As for Elite Series level, because I can already hear the comments.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, true. The other storyline I saw on the FPO side is Juliana Korver still got it.
Hey, she's still pretty good.
5-time world champion, always is in the talk for the greatest FPO player of all time.
Yeah, which is a tough talk, to be honest.
Yeah, but she's kind of like taking a break to be like, she's been doing some freestyle frisbee stuff, which is
cool.
just sick.
I wish.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it so many times.
Let's work on that.
I mean, it would be so cool to be able to do it like on a beach, just
just
spin
have a
that
little
thing,
like 3-person like act and just like I love when they spin it to themselves and slap it in the
slap it
air.
to the other person. Oh,
So cool.
there's freestyle frisbee. If you never watched those videos,
It's
they're some of the
awesome.
most entertaining.
Is that
things.
next Friday's video? What we're gonna do?
Try freestyle
oh my
frisbee.
gosh, should
100%. We
try
have
to learn tricks? That'd be a really funny,
be a really
video.
funny video.
Yeah, we gotta
do that. We also have Ultra Stars coming out
Well,
the
you
wazoo.
need a 150 gram. Those are the freestyle ones because they're light enough that you can like spin them.
Are we going to be good enough that that's going to matter?
You can get them for like $10 probably.
Where
It's
at?
Target. Like that one of the main Whammo frisbees that they
Oh, it's
make
like a
is the
freestyle?
150 freestyle ones.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go to Target and try to. All right. Well, yeah, absolutely.
We definitely have to give it a
But
shot.
another thing that some people, again, I think people just getting into sport might be like, who the heck is this Juliana Korver? 5-time world champ.
I'll tell you.
Also, I think this is one of the most impressive stats. She's the only woman to cash in a pro major, at MPO major, sorry. But why I think that's most impressive is because she did it at USDGC, which is
darn
just
good.
crazy. She used to be one of the only women who had ever qualified. Now Paige, Katrina, I think Elaine King, a lot of them have ended up playing USDGC. But she's still, to this date, the only FPO player to cash in an MPO major, and it was at USDGC, which is like probably one of the hardest events, period, to cash at.
And it's like all distance.
Yeah,
A lot
a
of the
lot
time.
of distance and a lot of
Yeah.
control with that distance. It
That's
just
very
speaks to Juliana
impressive.
Korver's game. Paige is another storyline here, but I don't think it's really that big because she's back.
She's back. We know this.
She took her
Making
sabbatical or
t-shirts.
whatever it was
Paige is
in
back.
Hawaii, and now she's back to the dominating Paige that we
I
expected.
think we got to go to Hawaii and then maybe we'll be back.
Yeah, if we go to Hawaii, it'll just set our game.
Would that be so funny if we came out of our little retirement by going to Hawaii first and then coming back?
And then we still shoot 920 ready to golf.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it only works for Paige.
Listen, we decided to go to Hawaii.
Didn't work for us.
Shake off the rust, come back, and just be awful.
All right. Well, with that being said, it's time for the fans' favorite segment, Trevor's Trivia. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so today I'm going to ask you one question. What is the exact speed and height of a perfect putt? You guys surely... Okay, I'm done. All right, here we
I
go.
just
No,
wish you
we're
would-
done. We're
no,
done. We're
I'm-
done.
all
We're
I'm
done.
saying
I don't
about
like
it-
being angry at each other,
All
and
I'm
they
saying
hate it
about
too.
it is I just wish you would have let me finish my points.
You're right. I was rude. I interrupted you.
That's all I wanted during that segment.
I got it was like it became like PTI that's pardon the interruption for those who don't watch that show, and I got ahead of myself. I want to hear like at least if to get anything from that little bickering segment, just input in the comments whether you think it'd be a big deal if my scenario happened. That's all I want to hear.
I think it'd be a big storyline, but you were saying it'd be detrimental to our sport.
I think it would hurt the sport's image a little.
I don't think it would.
Okay, well, let's just see what they say about it. All right, trivia. So I went through and I was looking the other night at UDisc stat leaders for this year on the Pro Tour, and I was surprised to find that some of these stat leaders are actually kind of interesting. Not what I expected. So I've written down a few different categories, and go ahead.
Oh, I was just telling you to stay on your mic.
Okay, my bad. I'm on my mic. I'm so bad at that. I've written down a few categories, and I'm just going to simply see if you can guess who leads that category, and then, for fun, see if you can guess what the
percentage
or whatever it is. Yeah, it is. So, number one, start with kind of the easy one, is birdie percentage.
Is this MPO?
These are MPO. These are MPO stats, yes.
MPO birdie percentage. I'm thinking it's not going to be someone you expect. I think it's going to be like an inconsistent player.
Really?
Because I think it's going to be someone who gets a lot of birdies but also gets a lot of bogeys.
Who would be that person?
I don't know. Because part of me actually just wants to throw that out the window and say Paul.
I don't know if
because
there is
Paul's
somebody.
always very aggressive, and so it leads to him might not always
There is
win.
somebody on tour like that makes a ton of birdies, like more than most, but also just makes a ton of bogeys.
Okay, well, since you're saying that, then I think I'm just throw that out the window and go with one of the top four.
What if I'm the reverse?
So I'm going Paul Macbeth.
No, it's actually Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky's
Okay, so I
at
was completely wrong.
55%.
But my thought process was good there.
But honestly, that's an interesting point. I'm not sure if there is somebody on tour like that like makes a ton of birdies, like as much as the top guys, but then also makes a bunch of bogeys.
That's what
Because like all the best players are just making a ton of birdies and like no bogeys.
Yeah, but that's what I was
So I'm
thinking.
not
Is like,
sure. How many birdies
wait.
do you have to make? You'd have to make like 18 birdies. It's not even possible to make a ton because they already make like 12 birdies.
I guess that's
around.
true. They're already averaging 12 or 13.
Yeah, it would
down.
be impossible.
I was just thinking like back to tag matches, we would have like one person come in and shoot even, and they literally just parred everything, and then like the winner would come in and shoot 2 down, and they had like 12 birdies and like a bunch of double and triple bogeys.
Of course, that could happen at some courses. All right, so the next one is fairway hits percentage.
I have no clue. I'm pretty confident that's Paul.
No, this one is Jordan Castro.
The frick?
82%.
Astronaut.
It's a fascinating one. I guess it's just like he throws a lot of straight, like safe shots in the fairway.
Well, fairway hits is also a interesting stat
Because of par threes.
Well, they're also playing a lot of golf courses right now.
Yeah.
And if you're just in bounds,
That's what
you're in the fairway.
There you go. I thought it was interesting though.
That is interesting.
So this next one, there's a 3-way tie. So we'll see what you can do with that. But it's
probably miss all three.
the parked percentage.
Calvin.
Nope.
Dang. That's what I've been saying. Well, I went Paul, Calvin. I didn't want to say Paul again, although I do think Paul's probably one of the three.
Paul is one of the three.
Okay.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
I didn't want to just constantly say Paul.
Yeah, he is one of. He has.
To be fair, which I'm assuming this is coming, putting percentage, I wouldn't pick Paul.
I forgot to ask you the percentage of the first two, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot, but I'll.
So Paul's one of them. Calvin's not. Parked percentage. I don't know. Parked is a weird one. Because that just means that you're parked for birdie within like 10 feet. Correct?
Yeah, I think it's within 10. Yeah, something like that.
Well, so Ricky should be.
Yeah.
With his high birdie percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul, Ricky, Eagle.
Oh.
If we're just sticking with the
Yeah,
tops.
his last one's is a tough one. It's AB.
Really?
Yeah, and can you guess what the percent is?
That they're tied at?
It's gonna make you sick to your stomach.
Parked percentage?
Yeah,
25%.
it's 20.
Okay.
20%, but 1 out of every 5 holes they're parked for birdie.
Yeah,
like
it's sickening.
yikes. All right, so then we have the last two are putting statistics. So we have C1X putting.
See, C1X just messes with me. Because, like, I would want to say Ricky, but I feel like when you take out the, like, I feel like C1X is misleading. Because, like, if you put a 20-footer,
putting stats are.
if you put a 20-footer on the line and, like, if they miss the putt, I die, I'm picking Ricky every time. But then as you get to, like, 30 feet, like, it just is depending, like, how much your player's ending up at that 27 to 30-foot mark versus someone ending up at, like, someone could just be ending up at 15 to 20 feet all the time.
Just make a guess, though.
Calvin.
No, this one's actually really interesting. It's
Exactly.
Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because like to me that
Guess
just
what the
means
percentage is
95%.
90.
Because to me that just means like Yuli could be getting the most 15 footers and the most 35 footers on tour. To where he's just
You're right.
constantly
The putting-
hitting 15.
It doesn't mean he's getting a birdie on that hole. He
Yeah.
might be in the
No.
yeah.
But I'm just
We-
saying, like, if Ricky's constantly giving himself a 27 footer for birdie and Yuli's constantly giving himself a 15 footer for
yeah.
par,
'Cause
Ricky's
he just had a
stats
layup.
are going to
We've
be
talked
way
about
higher.
we've talked about this before how putting statistics they need to be changed. They need
Yeah.
to be more accurate. Right
Because
now,
Yuli
they're
also might be like constantly being at 35 feet.
The
to
fact
where
that-
only circle one.
The fact
putts
that
get
every
hit.
time we talk about C1X putting, we have to go and look more carefully at the statistic to see if it's misleading. That's
That's
right
the thing
there.
to me
tells
is we
you.
already have like when you're
have the
inputting
data.
scores, it says like 5 to 10 feet, 10 to 20, 20 to 30.
Just give us a
So
percentage
just
from each of those
give us
ranges.
those 3 percentages.
I'd rather have those 3 percentages.
Yeah, because then it make more
It's
sense.
not that difficult to look at.
Because then it'd be
Like,
interesting
it's
to
not that
see
bad.
like, is Yuli overall? Like, you add those three together, is he like the best percentage wise, or is it like 20 to 30 feet? He's really struggling, but 15 feet and in, he doesn't miss.
Yeah, and then give me the number of putts they have from each of those too. So when I'm looking over the season, I'd be like, well, this is why, because look how many putts he has from that 10 to 20 range.
Because we have all the statistics. Like
Right.
you just could do it.
All right, last one is circle 2 putting, which is the most misleading of all.
Ricky.
No,
Dang it, man.
Eagle.
No, yeah, circle
39% though.
Circle 2 again, because that's what they were asking James Proctor
That
about.
pretty
on the
much
Nick and
means
Matt
he has
show.
a lot of 50 footers, right?
Well-
if he's got or 40 footers.
Well,
even.
on the Nick and Matt show, they were asking James Proctor because he was like, well, I was looking at it and my circle 2 percentage was low. And then I started thinking through, and it was like half of the ones that were misses, I wasn't actually putting because I was laying up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like 60 feet away and I just laid up because
That's
there's a
interesting.
big cliff behind it.
That's interesting.
He's like,
too,
but that's a
yeah.
missed circle 2 putt. I think that probably happens a lot.
Maybe. Yeah, it's an interesting thing in disc golf if you should just like not count a putt if somebody's laying up,
But
but
how do you
it's
do
hard.
that? You
It's
can't-
harder to determine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying circle 2, it's
I've
such
thrown
a
a
wide
lot of
range.
putts that look like layups. Let's put it that. My putting percentage would be awesome because all my bad ones would hit the bottom of the pole.
But that doesn't count toward your percentage.
I know, so my percentage would be great because then my good ones would go in, but then my bad ones would just be super low. From distance, that's like my miss is low. It would help my percentage because a lot of my missed putts wouldn't count. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying if the layup was.
If the layup,
Oh, okay.
yes. All
So-
right.
okay. I thought you were saying
I'm pretty
in
sure
general.
I saw your your brain just.
You were saying
evaporate.
right now. I thought you were saying with like right now statistics. I'm like, no, Trevor, you'd still be missing those putts.
No,
like
no, no,
the
no.
putt that hit the cage still is a missed putt.
If it wasn't counted.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but I thought that was interesting. It's like because especially at a course like Daylot where there's big cliffs and whatever, you're scared of
Yeah, you lay
rollaways.
up a lot.
He's like, yeah, I was just laying up, and he's like, once I started thinking through, I was like, I was actually putting really good when I was trying to make them in circle 2, but like I was just laying up way more than I
Yeah,
was.
if I was a disc golfer, I mean, I don't know. There's very few statistics I would ever even look at. I'd be looking at one statistic, and it'd be the leaderboard.
The W.
Yeah. Is there a W or an L? Ugh.
Sorry, I was looking at the next thing. So we also had another mailbag submission. This was a virtual mailbag submission. I need to pull up who this was from. But basically, this person mentioned me on Discord to get into the mailbag submission and wanted to
Get in
know.
the Discord, guys.
Here we go.
Free.
Rockerbug added me and Trevor in Discord and said, for the mailbag, who do you think is the greatest player to never win a major? So before we get too into it,
Let's explain the guidelines.
let's explain some guidelines, because I think if we're going just by that title period, the current pick I think is
Calvin.
Is it still obviously? Yeah, it is.
It's Calvin.
It's obviously Calvin right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, because like Calvin's career is far from over. You could pick so many young players who their career is nowhere near over, and then be like, well, yeah, this is the best player because he's the most relevant. So instead, we're doing it with former players, or at least someone who's at the end of their career.
Right. And we're kind of
Like they
basing
have a lot of
it-
history.
We're kind of basing it off of like how good their career was, basically.
Yeah. So the first one that came to mind, and when I did more research, I'm sticking with him because I don't know. He's been around for so long. He's had a lot of shots close to majors, but never really won them. Is Johnny McRae.
Yeah, there's only one thing that stands in between Johnny McRae and a major, and it's hole
Hole 17 at
17.
USCGC.
I mean, it broke my heart.
It broke everyone's heart. Imagine if that was on ESPN, how bad that would have been.
I'm going to say a really awful thing right now. I'm going to say a really awful thing right now. I'm going to ignore that. But I was rooting for him to miss the island because I liked Will and Paul more. And I
was 2014.
actively cheered.
I wasn't into
I was
the
only
sport.
15 years old. I can't be held accountable for that. But I was like, oh my gosh, you missed it again. Like, yeah, I was a big old Paul and Will fanboy.
I wasn't into
It's
the sport
disgusting
yet.
behavior, and I don't.
So
condone
I
it.
just watched it because people told me you have to see this finish.
I was watching
went
it.
back and
I
watched
watched it live. I think it was live that year, and it was crazy. That's hole 17 is the
And he
single
still made the
most.
playoff.
It's just how are you gonna win a playoff after that happens though? Like it was the
I
single
mean, the
most.
fact he even got into the
Hole
playoff.
17 is like the best thing ever. It's so chaotic. It's like the only hole that like I see in a major where I'm like, yeah, it is not over.
And the best
You
thing
can be up
about
by
it,
10.
the
and
best
it is
thing
not
about
over.
it is, well, now it kind of is because they made it where you have to advance after X amount of shots. Whatever.
Stupid.
But
I like them empty in that bag.
the thing is, I love the like half-mile walk beforehand,
Oh, it's
where it's just
awesome.
playing mental tricks on you the whole time.
you
you're
just like
walking
the
up
whole
to
time you're going back, like just throw the backhand mid.
Yeah,
Nah,
just-
dude, like the forehand, it's there. Like you're just like
You practiced
it's-
it, just backhand.
Hot
Brutal.
take. I think that hole is actually harder on Disc Golf Valley than in real life.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. And I've played that hole in real life, and I
Yeah.
missed short with a mid range. It's longer down there than you think it is. I turned a mid like short into the hay bales both times I played it. And
I always threw the forehand. I've made
I did not have a forehand back then.
in practice.
Still don't.
In practice, I made it every single time without fail. I was like, this is the easiest thing. Then I got into Dean's Cup, which was the tournament pressure. Missed it
tough,
every
man.
time. I've missed it
How
like
long is
four-
the hole? Because
260.
yeah, I remember playing, and this is not me hyping myself up,
You're
but
huge.
I always threw a putter, and
Yeah.
I never missed it.
I mean,
would throw a
I could throw a
putter.
putter too, but I'd have with pressure on. Like I was trying to throw something that I could throw soft.
It's
I never
terrifying.
had any pressure though, because I only ever played the course
Without
for fun.
could definitely
pressure,
get through the
you'll
putter,
watch
yeah.
pros
Yeah.
in practice. They're just throwing darts.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
And they get into USDGC, and it's like they forgot how to throw.
If I had
It's
any
amazing.
pressure on there, it would be awful.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
So
It's
back
the
to
greatest
John-
thing ever.
So back to Johnny.
Oh, I was just saying, I think he's the best player that.
Okay.
I don't really have his like stats
that's-
lined up.
that's
I just
what
think
you
he has
have.
a long
Okay,
career
well,
that
I
he's
have like a
pushed. He's pushed towards the top multiple times at NTs, Worlds, Majors. I think
Listen,
I
I've
feel like
got
Johnny's a pretty
I've
obvious
got a dark
answer.
horse pick. This guy,
This guy.
Dr. Rick Vokes. Okay, he's a doctor. I should tell you something. You know why he's a doctor? I don't know what I was about to say, but this guy didn't even start playing pro. He started in the 80s, but he didn't even really start playing until he was like already like master's age. So this guy, I'm gonna pitch him to you as like the what could have been had he been born in a different era or started playing sooner, because he had 7 top 15 finishes at Worlds, and this is when he was master's age and beyond, like even into his 50s, he was coming top 15 at Worlds. 3 U.S. Masters, 9 World Championships in Masters and Grand Masters divisions combined.
That's
This
another
guy,
thing we should say really fast.
We're not counting
We're not counting Master
Masters.
Worlds because
Yes.
Johnny also has those.
Yes.
We're only counting Open Majors.
so this guy dominated the old guys, basically dominated. And like I said, he was too busy being a doctor till he was like 40.
Is he a medical doctor? What's
That's
his
not
doctor?
important. He's a doctor of perfect putts, but he's the only one that knows what it is. I mean, like, there's got to be a T-shirt. that
Does
says
it say Doctor of Perfect Putts?
Like perfect putts has got to be some kind of T-shirt or hat. But he had a really awesome career and like didn't even play until he was older. So I think he definitely can be mentioned in that argument. The old heads are gonna be loving that. They're like, oh, dude, PDJ 26, man, love that guy. I think he was like 1,400 in the PDJ numbers. He's
I've met him before. Super nice guy.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of him just because he didn't have a lot of like big success in Open.
It's 'cause
But
he's
you're
past his
right.
prime, dude.
If he was born 10 years later,
Things could have been different.
you never know what he could have done.
He would have been the Ricky we talked about, not Wysocki.
No, Dr. Ricky,
Dr. Ricky, dude, imagine.
Dr. Rick.
Imagine how big of a flex it would be if you were a doctor, you had a doctorate, and then you played pro sports. Like you had the time to somehow to do both, and like you were good at your sport. Like you were like a professional. And like, are you kidding me?
Could you imagine the signature discs?
Yeah,
says
you
Dr.
got like
Ricky
a
on there.
stethoscope around the edge of it. Like, I mean, that'd be
Dr. Rick.
sick. Like, what a nickname! And it wouldn't even be a nickname because it's real. It's like your actual name.
It's the doctor.
The doctor.
The
The
doctor.
doctor
The
is
putt,
in.
the putt doctor.
That sounds like one of the new Evolution line
The
discs.
doctor.
The doctor.
It's probably
The
exists.
active line ones, yeah. Yeah, it's probably already
putt
in
doctor,
the
it's
works.
gonna be their
It's
putter.
approved.
Dr. Putts.
That's a flex. I mean, he was out there winning world championships as a doctor.
The puttologist.
Nope.
The puttologist.
Nah, that's not it.
Doctor.
We'll go back to the drawing board.
We'll figure something out.
We have to find a doctor first that plays disc golf, but
Dr. Putts.
we got time.
With a Z.
Dr. Putts with a Z. That's good.
There we go. We landed on it. All right. And then finally, to end out this episode, we're going to be looking at the Portland Open coming up. First off, big storyline. Not really. The PDGA and the Pro Tour have now taken their official stand. Not really an official stand by any means, but I'm calling it an official stand. That ball golf is a part of our sport. Ball golf is here to stay because we're playing on a ball golf course this weekend. Ball golf, ball golf, ball golf. It's in the caddy book on the Pro Tour multiple times. If you look at the rules, it calls every green the ball golf green. It calls the course a ball golf course. And the PDGA added it to Paul's quote. Paul basically said, like...
That is messed up.
Paul was basically saying, like, I feel like we've been playing on... He literally said, we've been playing on golf courses all year. And the PDGA posts with quotes, we've been playing on ball golf courses all year.
In quotes, not even parentheses.
And what was funny is, like, that's right when this, like, this whole, like, Brody saying, like, it's not ball golf, it's golf thing had been going on Twitter. And so I texted...
took a stance.
I texted our group chat because Paul had jokingly texted us, like, I better never hear y'all say ball golf. He was, like, just joking around about the whole thing. And I sent him a screenshot. I was like, uh-oh, someone's a hypocrite. And he goes, listen to the actual clip. I didn't say ball golf. And I was like, oh.
That's messed up, man. That's no journalistic integrity
right there. I think the PDGA must not know brackets exist. Also, of, like, putting it around the word ball to be like, we're clarifying this. He didn't actually say
your whole thing was they put it in it's in the caddy book, right?
It's in the caddy book.
But I just want to know if the tournament director wrote up that book and then the Pro Tour just formatted it and then just looked over it, because I don't know if
if they formatted and looked over it,
then yeah, they might have changed it. But I'm saying they maybe if the Pro Tour had been the ones writing the caddy book, it would have been different. Maybe not.
Here's my thing.
I'm not gonna put the nail in the coffin until I see a Pro Tour, like it's very obvious that they're the ones that wrote it and it says
here's my
that
thing.
word. I'm done with
why
that word.
The heck does it matter?
I don't know, dude.
Like, why? What's the big deal?
I'm just trying to be edgy, to be honest.
I just don't I get what he's saying.
Because I mean, it's like this. I'll give it this much.
It sounds silly.
Has been around for hundreds of years. Let's give it credit and call it by its actual name. It's
if
golf.
We're sitting here and we're talking on a disc golf podcast, okay, and we keep saying the word golf and then disc golf, golf and then disc golf, it can get very confusing. So I don't think there's anything wrong with adding the word ball in front of it or regular.
I'm just not
to clarify it.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to do it.
I mean, you've done it all the time. This is the first episode you're not doing it.
I'm not going to do it anymore. I've decided I'm not doing it anymore.
I mean, that's fair.
They're two different words. Golf, disc golf. And if I'm talking about golf, then I'm going to say golf. If I'm talking about disc golf, I'm going to say disc golf.
All I'm saying is I could see... I fully understand the reasoning behind ball golf. I don't understand the outrage behind ball golf. Like, I understand the... I'll say ball golf because...
I am enraged.
Why? What, enraged?
Is that a word? Is that a word?
So. I think it means the same thing as outrage.
I was trying to do like the...
I realized what you were trying to say.
I was trying to do the opposite of out.
Yeah, but it'd just be saying...
But that's EN.
I'm
though.
enraged.
That's EN, though.
Well,
my word is IN. I am RAGED. That's what I am.
All I'm saying is, like, I don't think it actually is a big deal by any means. Now, if we were like... Even if it's like... ESPN's covering it and they say ball golf. Like,
I mean, they would never.
I mean, the only people that are getting upset over it is old golfers.
I'm not an old golfer.
You're upset by ball golf?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I hope Brody's listening, not watching.
Well, I know Brody's probably ticked off right now. But all I'm saying is, I don't see the big deal. Regular golf, ball golf.
Golf, so I'm gonna call it golf.
Well, his whole point was like we don't call. What did he say? Like we don't call tennis like tennis net or net tennis or something.
It's different than that.
But it's different
because the way we were using it was to make sure that we differentiated when talking.
And that's how everyone uses it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the whole point of putting ball in front.
Pretty much.
That's the whole point of putting disc in front.
I think where it originated was people calling it regular golf.
Yeah.
And then people were like, let's not call it that.
Well, it wasn't a unified decision. It's not like someone made a post with a poll. It's like, hey, we're gonna take a very strong stand.
From my experience, is people were calling it regular golf, and then people decided like, let's call it ball golf, because it's not regular golf. Like our golf is just as good as their golf. It's kind of like a pride thing. Like,
I mean, I'll call it regular golf. Regular golf.
I used
to
do that too, but it's golf now.
Well, my whole thing is like
And
it
that's my
does. It
stance.
helps it not be confusing.
I approve this message. It's
It does
golf.
kind of. This is the same
Because,
way
like-
with table tennis and tennis. You don't ever say regular tennis or racket tennis. You say table tennis and tennis. And it's
the
never
example.
confusing.
That is the example.
That's valid.
It's never confusing.
That's the good example. Nobody ever is like, which one are you talking
Well,
about?
that's because
Great point, Connor, dude.
I think
you're gonna get
table
a cookie
tennis.
for that.
I've also well, yeah, no, that is a great point.
Should we have like a jar of like little snacks we throw him when he
Throw
makes
to
a good
Connor.
point?
It's a good one.
And you can have a dog collar on us when we start yapping at each other like little.
Well, I just think table tennis though, like most people call it ping pong, right? Do people call it table tennis a lot?
In the professional world, it's called table tennis.
Yeah, I feel like how
And it might be bigger than, I won't say bigger than disc golf, but it's been around longer than disc
No,
golf.
table tennis is
tennis?
definitely
Yeah.
bigger than disc
it's
golf.
definitely bigger. Yeah,
No way around that.
I just didn't want to offend anybody by
I'm
saying
not gonna use the Olympic argument because I know people
I don't
love
like
coming
it.
after that, but it is in the Olympics. So there.
It's like cornhole and just hole.
yeah.
No, table tennis and tennis is a good. That's a good.
That's probably the best one.
Yeah, but I wonder if like people really in the table tennis world call it regular tennis.
No chance. No.
How do you
chance.
know?
They might say like, oh, you want to go play a tennis match?
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Because that's where the
Maybe,
whole
but
that's
that's
where the
such
whole
a niche
confusion
thing,
comes
though.
from. We're literally a podcast talking about disc golf.
Maybe
We're
we
gonna say
need to-
niche. Like, I mean,
maybe we need
we're
to-
as niche as
Hey,
it gets.
No, I'm saying it's the same
Hey,
thing as
maybe
like
we
a
need
disc
to-
golfer saying, let's go play around.
Maybe
golf
we need to
and
not
talking about
have
disc
niche
golf.
mentality though. Maybe it's just for the sport to grow. We need to now have niche
I
mentality.
think a niche is good.
Oh,
Maybe we need to
creates
have
better
more
community.
niche mentality.
I'm just saying you don't know like if you go super deep behind table tennis
let's
lines.
call it white dimpled polyurethane with rubber core golf
Let's just call it golf and froth.
because that's what it is.
Golf and froth. Well, all I'm saying is like the
Listen, man,
whole
what
issue,
did Drew Gibson call it? Toss golf?
yeah.
Bro, that's sick.
All I'm like the whole issue behind it is that people refer to playing around a disc golf as like, hey, you want to go play golf later?
I've never said that in my life.
I've heard.
Nor have you.
Nick Carl. I've never said it, but Nick Carl yesterday literally was like, yeah, when I was golfing yesterday, talking about disc golf.
Yeah, but he literally said that in the context of us talking about.
But
this
he was
topic.
saying like he says that sometimes.
well, we don't. You know, knock it off. You need to
But
knock
that's where
it off.
that's where the whole issue comes from.
Well, you
is
know,
because
stop.
people in disc golf say golf.
Be proud enough about your sport to use the word disc in front of it.
I'm just saying. Regardless, PDJ and the Pro Tour use ball golf. So
It's
therefore, as a podcast that talks about the PDGA and the Pro Tour, I will be using ball golf. And we're back to a ball golf course, playing on ball golf holes around ball golf greens with ball golf bunkers and a ball golf country club. And, you know, it's just going to be a balling weekend.
You're
a lot of golf.
dude. I'm telling on you. I'm gonna tell on you.
Okay, but seriously, though,
I
back to
thought you were on our side, like
No,
literally
I'm gonna,
like a
I'm
few
gonna, I'm
days
gonna,
ago.
I'm gonna try to use golf as much as possible.
snapped
All
in
I'm
your
saying
head?
is, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think if I just say like regular golf or
I
ball
don't
golf,
have
it-
I don't have near enough care to.
I think it makes
argue
sense in the rules to clarify more specifically.
Yeah,
but
because,
I
like, if
think,
you say the
I
golf
think, like,
green-
In
as
the
a community
rule-
and
Oh.
just conversationally, it doesn't need to be.
Because then you could definitely see someone like if the caddy book said
That's a good
golf
point.
green, you could easily see someone being like, "Oh, so the circle's
Can
OB."
I have another cookie?
Here you go. But we're back to a golf course. I think this is too
What
many.
just happened?
I literally said I'm gonna try to say golf as much as
Oh.
possible.
Wait, what kind of golf?
Why?
I
I
don't
thought you
get
were on
it.
the other side.
No, I'm saying it. I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay.
But I'm like, I know
All
how to
right.
sit on a fence. But I think this is too many to put at the beginning of this year. I think we've seen
Yeah, I'm
way too many courses, just wide open golf courses. We're playing disc golf on. I'm so good. I get myself so confused in my head.
I know,
It's-
dude. You sound like you said
you know what I'm saying. You carry it on.
Okay. No, yeah. I agree with that. I wonder like if the Pro Tour has just decided that like, hey, the best way for us to run these events right now, where like we can rent out these courses to where we have full control, and we can make these courses whatever we want to be as the Pro Tour and design them however we want. Maybe they've just decided it's the easiest way for right now. But man, yeah, it kind of stinks. It's very much not like disc golf.
I wouldn't mind like how many there are if they were spread out. But it's like
That's true because the East
We hit
Coast swing,
DDO,
we're gonna
Go
hit.
Hill.
We're gonna hit all like the Ledgestone, Idlewild, Maple Hill. We're gonna hit like a really good swing.
yeah.
GMC, like Battle for Bedford. Like wow, what a swing!
No,
We're gonna
once
hit
you
that
once you
swing,
hit
and
the
it's
East
like,
Coast,
yeah.
you don't use ball golf courses.
But
golf
I mean,
courses.
obviously they have
I
to.
don't know what to say anymore.
Obviously, they have to do the tour in a way that makes sense
No,
like,
yeah.
geographically.
Absolutely.
So maybe they just need to find some more courses out there, out west.
I'm getting...
And they were, also, to be fair, they were trying to play at Milo. They were not trying to play this course.
Well, this was supposed to be Beaver Safe Link, I believe.
And I do completely agree that in the case of a contingency, in most cases, the ball golf course that you can design really quick, oh my gosh.
See what I'm saying? When you're comparing courses, you have to.
I hate myself for that. I'm disappointed in myself. I thought I was better than that. I thought about the golf course. I'm gonna at least correct myself.
You just need to get rid of that
I
country
told
club.
that.
I can't even tell the difference
Brody and
anymore.
I was like, if I say it, I'm at least gonna catch myself.
After you guys talking about it so long, I can't tell what you guys are talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's change it to just golf and golf. Golf is disc golf.
Okay, the golf course is going to be a really good contingency option because there's so many of them around, and you can just throw a template kind of design on any property.
This one does,
It
looking at the
works.
caddy book, this one does seem like it has good variation, a lot of tree options.
There's a lot of trees up there.
We actually don't have any like feedback from players yet because we're shooting this Wednesday, and the course has not opened yet. Because
All the
it's
feedback will come in probably tonight before this releases. Because
it's 6:35 in the morning on the West Coast right now, and the course opens at 7 a.m. It's open from dawn to dusk, so 7 a.m. to dusk. And
we'll hear about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, from what I understand, Brody's Instagram story or Facebook story yesterday said the course wasn't even done yet.
I don't know if he meant that it wasn't open or literally it wasn't done to the point where like they were still putting up stakes. It might have been they were just still putting up stakes and like basket wraps and stuff.
Yeah. One thing that is good is the course is closed to anyone but competitors today and tomorrow. And no one's seen the course, so no one has an advantage. And it's like everyone only has today and tomorrow to practice the course.
Yeah.
The bad part is everyone only has today and tomorrow to practice the course. So
Which means that it's going to really help whoever the course plays to their strengths.
yes.
Just don't be roller crazy like where that last one was.
Goat Hill.
Goat Hill. No.
Is Worlds at a golf
It
course
wasn't
this year?
Goat Hill, was it?
One of Worlds' courses at a golf course, isn't it?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Utah.
It wouldn't surprise
Utah
me.
Open always is. I mean, that'd be so 2021, man.
Has Worlds never had a ball?
It has. And in Georgia,
Again, a golf course.
in Georgia,
I'm broken.
no, Georgia was Fort Gordon. It was a military, so it wasn't. It just it had a golf green on it when you were
It's
walking.
becoming synonymous with the sport.
Worlds has because Worlds has been in Emporia when Ricky won in 2016 or 2017. It was on Emporia Country Club.
There you have it. The most
I feel like in the
golf
past,
course there is, Emporia.
in the past, it just hasn't felt like this many. I don't know what it is about this year. Maybe it's just more
Yeah.
people are talking about it, so it feels like it. But I'm just like, I'm tired of it. What do you got over there, Konner?
Used to be a rare thing.
Nothing yet? Cool. Predictions for this weekend. I'm going with the most boring
Yeah.
6 players right here.
I'm doing the exact same thing.
Eagle wins. Paul comes in second. Ricky comes in third. FPO, Paige wins. Haley second. Katrina third. I mean, when you're on a golf course, there's a lot of distance, and there's no like advantage to locals.
We don't know the course, so yeah, we don't know. We have to.
I just know it's a long course.
It's gotta be the vanilla prediction.
I know it's a long course, and it's a golf course, so I'm like, Eagles probably got a good chance at this.
I'm gonna pick Paul to win just because I feel like this year it's been like every few events he's due for a win.
Doesn't he only have 2 wins this year?
There's like a bit of a gap in between. I feel like he's getting better though as the season goes on. So I don't know. I feel like he's due here. He's a good player in Oregon. You know, just something about the air.
Something about the air up there.
I'm gonna have Ricky in second, Eagle in third, and the FPO. I'm gonna have Paige in first, Katrina in second, Haley in third. It's very
So we literally
basic.
picked the same 6. My thing is, no one's seen the course. It's a long distance course. I
It's
mean,
tough, man. It's
I
tough.
would have put Calvin up there, but it's gonna be interesting to see how he bounces back.
I mean, my MPO picks lately are just gonna be this way because that's just how it is.
We have- I think
FPO
there's-
can change, but we don't have anything to go off of.
No, there's no one's really seen this course. No, I mean, 2 years ago at the Portland Open, which also was a pro tour, we had Drew Gibson win, but that was on a different course.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That was on the disc golf course, not the golf course, ball golf course, golf. For the dark horse
Golf
picks,
course, that's funny.
dark horse picks. I try to look at like, oh, this guy's a local, he probably knows the course, blah blah blah. I threw it out the window because the course just opened. It opens in 20 minutes. So I'm going with Tanner Gerard. He's out of Texas. He's from what I understand, what I remember, I think he's got pretty good distance, which I think will be important here. And he's 999 rated, which is as close to the rule without breaking the rule as I can get.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I got somebody tweeted at me, and I had stated, I was like, if you suggest yourself as a pick, like there's a pretty good chance I'm going to pick you. And his name is Kirby Snyder, and he's 982 rated. He's from Seattle. He's up there. So I'm actually like, it's a pick I could have just made normally anyway. So Kirby, I'm rooting you on, man. Don't let me down. You really don't have any pressure. You have nothing to lose because I lose every time. So all you can do here is
the one that breaks
the streak.
I always played as Kirby in Smash Bros.
That's great. That helps me. Go ahead, Konner.
I just like Kirby.
I'm going to go with. See, I'm fighting the urge here because, like what you said, it's a brand new course, so there's not really a point in picking somebody local. And usually I like to go with somebody a little bit lower rated.
You're gonna have to go real low to get underneath.
Well, he's not worried about you.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I'm not at this point.
What?
Ridiculous.
Your guys rated what?
982 is what.
See, that seems high to me.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, go lower.
All right, fine. I'm gonna go lower. I haven't bought anybody coffee yet.
That's true.
This guy can't lose.
I'm gonna go with Dave Vincent.
That's a good name.
961.
I mean, this will be the week. If I mean, what are ratings? But like, surely I've got to win, or at least not lose. It's not even about winning. It's about not losing.
Because I was gonna choose John Willis II at 993, but that's just too high. He's gonna choke.
So Tanner, Kirby,
Dave Vincent.
All right, there we go. We got it locked in. Be interesting to keep up with that storyline, and we're gonna wrap it up here. Final segment with a make that call. And this one is about the 2-meter rule. So, because I figured it was right on time, right on topic.
I can't stand it.
My disc was stuck far. Well, let me paint you in this scenario. Oh gosh. Let me paint you in this scenario. So you're playing day law. You're at Masters Cup. Mm-hmm. You get the hole 15. You throw your shot. Your disc gets stuck far above 2 meters in a tree with the 2-meter rule in effect because you're day law. When another player throws, when I step up, knocks yours to the ground. Where is your lie, and are you still subject to the penalty throw?
Oh, we've talked about this.
We've talked about this
similar with the wind.
a river or wind or something. Yeah.
Oh gosh. And I remember. I think the last time. I think with the wind one, what I decided, I was kind of angry at the rule, and I think it was like if it falls out of the tree, that doesn't count. And I was like, well, what if you don't even see it fall out of the tree, like, and you don't even know that it did that? Like, I don't remember the disc. So like. Because like the golf rule on like shots like of this nature is that the ball that deflects off of it, you just play it where it lies. The ball that was hit, you have to move back to the nearest location. But what are you gonna do? Put it back up in a tree, or like is it already dead? Is the disc like considered dead the second it's ruled 2 meters? Like you're sitting there, you see it up in the. You're saying like you see it up in that tree. It's clearly up there. You're looking at it. Like at that moment, is it just like 2 meters? That disc is dead. Or is it not? Because like I hate these rules. Because like, what if you don't see it stuck, and then if like you got knocked out of the tree, but you don't even know that it happened, it just happened. Like, I'm gonna say that. Like, can you imagine calling somebody on that? Can you imagine be like, oh, I think my disc grazed yours, and that's why it fell out of the tree. So I'm still gonna call you, and you still have 2 meters. Like, that's ruthless. But I bet you that's what it is. I'm going to say that, yeah, you still have the 2 meter penalty, and you have to put it nearest to where it would make sense of where it was. The other person's disc is fine. That's my answer.
So the interference rules state that a disc that has been moved is played relative to where it first came to rest. Since that was clearly above 2 meters, you're subject to a penalty throw just as if the disc had stayed in the tree.
I mean, just imagine the fireworks when like the disc whizzes past yours in the tree. It may or may not have hit it, and it falls out. Even there was wind too.
What if it just hits the branch? It doesn't hit the disc.
Imagine if that decides a world championship on ESPN.
That's not a good look for our sport.
That's a bad look for the sport.
But that's not going to happen because the 2 meter rule is never going to be in effect at Worlds ever again.
If it was somewhere in California, it just might be.
There's no way the PDGA would.
See, now that one I can
playing-
get behind.
They wouldn't be playing Worlds with a 2 meter rule.
That I could get behind.
I
A
don't
2 meter
have a
rule
lot
would
of
be an
hope for
awful
them,
look.
but like surely they wouldn't do that. They couldn't.
They would just say the TD decided. I can't. We have no say.
You better have some say.
I mean, hopefully that never happens. But that one I can get behind.
Yeah. What if
Perfect putt? I
hits
can't.
the
Thanks for
branch,
watching. What?
What if it hits the branch, not the disc, and then it makes it fall out of the tree?
It's the same. I think it's the same thing. I think it's
My
because
problem
it's,
is
like,
the-
it's
is
not
that-
nature doing it.
It's just really unlucky because the person who
The 2
throws,
meter rule is just unlucky. Let's just start there.
because if you throw
That's the whole issue.
If you throw near the fairway and everybody can see the tree and everybody can see that it got knocked out of the tree, then it was the 2 meter rule and that penalty
Right,
was
but if you
involved.
couldn't see it.
But then what if it was like way off in the woods and the same exact thing happened but nobody saw it?
If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear
Exactly.
it, doesn't
Does
make a sound.
Is it golf? Is it a perfect
Which
putt?
golf?
If a tree
Ball golf.
falls and nobody hears it, is it a perfect putt?
Thanks for watching or listening. We really appreciate it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review, whether it's good, bad, ugly. I don't care. We just appreciate the reviews. We like hearing the feedback. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of. I mean, so many things have happened
We're
in this
trying
episode.
so hard to get through an episode without arguing, and I ruined it this time because there was not a single controversial topic on that lineup. I didn't even think mine was that controversial when I brought it up. I ruined it. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The
We're
only
going
reason
to
I got
counseling.
heated was because you wouldn't let me finish my
We're
statement.
going to counseling. No, you were heating up before that.
I was heating up, but I
You were
wasn't
heating
heated.
up.
I was getting hot.
We
I
already
wasn't hot.
We already know. It was always going to lead down that road.
We'll talk to you next week.